This is you, the room, and this is you, YouTubers. Pay attention, YouTubers, you and Merry Christmas. You stand around and watch all the opportunities go by. You sit there, you sit there, you sit there. They sit there, they sit there. Oh, I'm getting ready. Bert's getting ready. Bert's getting ready. Rick's getting ready. Oh, maybe the next one. Maybe the next one. Maybe the next one. Oh, no, I'm tired now. Maybe the next one. Maybe the next one. And there comes somebody like me. Just jumps on and eats it. Maybe the next one, Ray. Who in this room is that male lion? Once you become fearless, life becomes limitless. And the best advice I've ever given anybody is just do it. We take too much time procrastinating. And because we're afraid of failure, and fear is false expectations appearing real. We're worried about what other people think. We're trying to fit in. And I can go through a whole litany of, it's not because it's not true, litany of stuff why you are where you are because you just didn't do it. You didn't want to make a mistake. You got a mortgage. You got 2 ex-wives. You got a 15-year-old daughter who's pregnant. Your dad's got Alzheimer's. Your mother's got emphysema, spitting up blood. I can go on and on and on and on. But the bottom line is, if you had 15 years ago you had just done it, 10 years ago you had just done it, 5 years ago if you had just done it, 6 months ago if you just done it, you probably wouldn't be in the position you're in now. So I'm saying no matter what your age is, it's still time to just fucking go out and do it. Just go out and do it. Oh no, but how do you classify it?
Right.
I'm going to make you give me 2 lists. One list, your goals. Intermediate, short-term, long-term goals, okay? Both in personal and business. Then you put another list together, and this is a good exercise for you guys to do. You put another list together, and you say who you met with from Sunday midnight till Saturday midnight for 1 week. Who you talked to or who you met with, okay. And you put the list together. Okay, let's say there's 50 people on this list. Or in your case, maybe 100, I don't know. Okay, on mine, it's a short list. Only the mentees, basically. 5 or 6 people outside the mentees, lawyers and accountants. Now, you put a number by every person that you emailed, Skype, tweet, link, and which one of your goals on this other side of the paper they have anything to do with. You will be staggered, stunned, gobsmacked, awestruck.
How much time you're wasting with people that have no business being in your life to attain your goals.
Correct.
Okay. Hanging out with losers. Wasting your time with people that mean
correct
nothing to you. Okay.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
That's one of your top
it is
3 pieces.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. You want to know why you're all up? Just look at the bums you hang around with. And why do I say that? Because after 46 years and teaching you morons for 23 years, you want to take the easy way out. Because you think life is a journey. That is horse. Life's a journey if you're a moron and you're retarded. That's why, that's what you've done with the life up heretofore. It's been a journey. And how good is the journey? You tell me. Life doesn't have to be a journey. It's a journey for morons. You think life is a journey for the Trump kids? It's a process, the same process his daddy raised him by. Same for me. Life ain't a journey if you're my kid. It's a process. So you tell me if you're results oriented at all, who's better off? The journey or the process? And for the most part, most people in this room and most people listening on YouTube have to come to the realization, as sad as it is, that you have pissed, you have urinated, heretofore up until this morning, your entire life down a hole. Very simple. That's it. If you want to create massive wealth. If you just want to be a happy, slappy housewife from Dundee, or a happy, slappy from Toronto, or a happy, slappy guy who goes to the Little League games in Mesa, Arizona, then that's okay. But if you want to create some money, and money's not everything. But I mean, you can get money and then go save the world. You can get money and save the forests in Brazil. You make money and go save global warming, which I don't believe in. You can, and save the kids in Biafra and all that shit. But without money, you can't save a thing. Don't you understand?
Well, I mean, I do use that phrase with our engineering design team, that aspirationally we're in pursuit of the platonic ideal of the perfect car. Yeah. Who knows what that looks like actually, but you want to try to make every element of the car as flawless as possible. And there will always be, some degree of imperfection, but try to minimize that and create a car that is just delightful in every way. And I think if you do that, then the rest kind of takes care of itself.
That third failure in a row, did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up. I mean, I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated.
8 weeks later, Musk bet the company on another flight.
We have liftoff.
And this time around, everything worked.
Perfect.
If that fourth launch hadn't worked, that would have been it. We would have not had the resources to mount a fifth.
Really liking what you do, whatever area that you get into, given that even if you're the best of the best, there's always a chance of failure. So I think it's important that you really like whatever you're doing. If you don't like it, life is too short. If you like what you're doing, you think about it even when you're not working. I mean, it's something that your mind is drawn to, and if you don't like it, you just really can't make it work, I think.
So many people try to talk me out of starting a rocket company. It was crazy. One good friend of mine collected a whole series of videos of rockets blowing up and made me watch those. He just didn't want me to lose all my money. We're doing these things that seem unlikely to succeed, and we've been fortunate, and at least thus far they have succeeded. Now is the time to take risk. You don't have kids. As you get older, your obligations increase. So and once you have a family, you start taking risk not just for yourself, but for your family as well. It gets much harder to do things that might not work out. So now is the time to do that before you have those obligations. So I would encourage you to take risks now. Do something bold. You won't regret it.
The failures are not the most terrible things. Well, you have to learn from it and react to it.
Yeah, exactly. When you're building something new, there's going to be mistakes.
Yeah.
And it's important to recognize those mistakes, acknowledge them, and take corrective action.
Yeah.
And the success of a company is very much more about how quick are you to fix the mistakes, not will you make mistakes.
Or admit mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you see the difference between a startup that is successful and one that is not, and it's because the successful one, they both made mistakes, but the successful one recognized the mistakes, fixed them very quickly, and the unsuccessful one tries to deny that the mistakes exist.
Extremely smart people are sometimes quite arrogant because they believe in what they believe in, right? And so when they face criticism, it's less likely to admit, they can make mistakes. Was that in your case?
I learned it when I was studying physics. In physics, you're taught to always question yourself. You're taught to always assume that you're wrong, not assume that you're right, and you have to prove yourself not wrong. And so I think that physics framework is really where I learned it, and it's very effective for learning counterintuitive things that aren't obvious.
So you are very famous in saying that failure is actually an option, and if you're not failing, that means you're not innovative enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I like failure. I mean, who likes failure is terrible. But if you only do things that are certain to succeed, then you're only going to be doing very obvious things. When I interview someone to work at the companies, to ask them to tell me about the problems that they worked on and how they solved them.
And if someone was really the person that solved it, they'll be able to answer multiple levels. They'll be able to go down to the brass tacks. And if they weren't, they'll get stuck. And then you can say, oh, this person was not really the person who solved it, because anyone who struggled hard with a problem never forgets. If you're creating a company or if you're joining a company, the most important thing is to attract great people. So either join a group that's amazing, that you really respect, or if you're building a company, you've got to gather great people. I mean, all a company is a group of people that have gathered together to create a product or service. And so depending upon how talented and hardworking that group is, and the degree to which they are focused cohesively in a good direction, that will determine the success of the company. So do everything you can to gather great people if you're creating a company.
So you've got to make sure that whatever you're doing is a great product or service. It has to be really great. And I go back to what I was saying earlier, where if you're a new company, I mean, unless it's like some new industry or new market, that if it's an untapped market, then you have more ability to, the standard is lower for your product or service. But if you're entering anything where there's an existing marketplace against large entrenched competitors, then your product or service needs to be much better than theirs. It can't be a little bit better, because then you put yourself in the shoes of the consumer, and they say, why would you buy it as a consumer? You're always going to buy the trusted brand unless there's a big difference. So a lot of times, entrepreneur will come up with something which is only slightly better. And it can't just be slightly better. It's got to be a lot better.